Hey, what's up everybody? I'm looking here through certain things, so I'm trying to find one more person's, here we go. This is the one I'm looking for. Let me just put these to the side. Whew! This guy does about almost 3 pages worth of stuff. Half of one page, half at the end of the other. But anyway, this is by Kivan D6. Kivan D6. And this was posted about 1 week ago. About a week ago, I'd say about 6 hours ago. 5 hours ago. 1 week, 5 hours. Let's just say it's around 1 week, 5 hours ago. And this is another entry that came out during the holiday break. And his is called The True Reasons Why I Hate Mecha Sally. This is Kivan D6, Kivan D6. And like I said, he posted this just about 1 week ago, 1 week, 5 hours ago, if you will. And this is another entry, like I said, that was posted during the holiday break. And this is what D6, I'll just call him D6, has to say. Basically, his true reasons why he hates Mecha Sally. This is what he said about a week ago. This is what he said, and I quote: "Many fans hate the new Mecha Sally subplot in the Archie comics. So do I. But whenever someone talk about how horrible it is, but whenever someone talks about how horrible it is, someone else is quick to call you a Sally fanboy. Newsflash: anyone on DeviantArt is a fanboy. Yes, I am a Sally fanboy, but I do not worship her as a god or anything. Call her overrated, I can respect that. Any character can be considered overrated after all. But people think that we hate Mecha Sally because they think we don't like to see anything bad happen to her. I know the freedom fighters are in a war and injuries and such are inevitable. So I'm going to clear one thing out of the way. I don't mind robotization. I even wrote a short segment on my old account in which Sally became roboticized. I even wrote a story in which Sally died, my Insanity Zone story. So it's not that what I hate about the Mecha Sally arc. So it's not that what I hate about the Mecha Sally arc. Okay, that's what it is. It's the horrid execution by Ian Flynn on the entire arc. Let's start at the beginning. Eggman reboots the universe, and half the population of the world is vulnerable to roboticizing. And the only one on the Death Egg affected is Sally, who before the reboot of the world was gunned down by a torrent. Ian just had Sally shot. Think about that. Ian just had Sally shot. Think about that. I mean, Eggman and Sonic aren't affected one bit. Only Sally was. Next, she's modified. That's disturbing. She's a robot now. But this is still equivalent to having someone taken its... she's a robot now. But this is still equivalent to having someone taken its organs out and replaced by crap. It just doesn't feel right. It feels mean-spirited for a comic intended for young audiences. She is modified, so de-roboticizing her is not possible, and with an upgrade that prevents her free will from being restored. And she runs on power rings, some which Eggman doesn't have in large amounts. Eggman can't make power rings, so he can't keep Mecha Sally active forever. He even had to ask Monkey Kong for one. Really big flaw there. But hey, We got a cool Sally battle robot now, right? Too bad she's not that efficient. I mean, what has she achieved so far in the comics? Not much, in fact. She just appears somewhere, she attacks, the freedom fighters chase her off, and they start all over again. Compare that to the original Mecha Sally, who, in her original single issue, captured all the freedom fighters. So that Mecha Sally, before she was modified, did more in one issue than the modified Mecha Sally now. So nothing comes of it. And speaking of pattern, it's all it is. Like I said, it's the same thing. She appears, Team Freedom fights her, Team Fighters actually fights her, she runs away, that's just the same thing over and over. It's getting boring. Ian Flynn clearly had the idea, but didn't think it all the way through. So he makes the same thing happen. Happening all over again. And the heroes could have recaptured her by now, but due to idiotic reasonings, she keeps escaping. I mean, hello? T-Pup has this paralyzing tool. If it works on Silver Sonic, it works on her too. Okay, well, all right. And it's going on for 2 years. 2 years of padding and nothing achieved. Ian just wanted to do this for shock value. But shock value in Grim Dark does not work if there is no substance behind it. No solid story. It's just a cheap way to draw people in. But it leads to nothing. It's just there. And Ian being as good as foreshadowing as it is, which is not at all, will have Sally fixed by magic. The kind of magic that turned Bunny organic again, despite the fact it should not be possible to de-roboticize her because her original robot limbs were swapped with new cybernetics. Ian has no sense of continuity. It's the kind of magic it's magic, don't need to explain it. So now you know why I truly hate the Mecha Sally arc. It's horrible writing of Ian at its worst. He uses shock value, but has no solid story to go on from there. Everything is half-assed, and will probably be fixed by random crap. Excuse me while I check my time here. Okay. It's not bad to put a character in a bad situation. I mean, even Sonic was roboticized at one point, but the Mecha Madness issue was much better written. There was build-up, suspense, story value. It's not the same here with Mecha Sally. Ian Flynn is just bullying the readers. Think about it. He keeps padding because he can't think of something better. Instead of turning her back on the spot and have it over with so he can continue with new ideas, he keeps stretching it out. He keeps stretching out the Mecha Sally plot. It's like a bully stealing one of your possessions and daring you to get it back. You want it? You want it? Well, you ain't getting it. You're not telling me he's unaware of what he's doing. He is. He puts a little effort in his stories. He makes continuity his bitch to make his stories work. He's as subtle as a flying mace. And he treats a character he supposedly claims to like with such disrespect. You cannot tell me that he has respect for his fans. He has the amount of respect he has as he needs to be without getting fired. But for the rest, he does what he wants and doesn't care. We think. Okay. But for the rest, he does what he wants and doesn't care what we think his story writings is bad. So I'll say it one more time. I hate the Mecha Sally arc because it's nothing but bad writing. My own status as a Sally fan has nothing to do with it. And if you Ian fanboys try to defend him, well, I admit, not all his work is bad. The Urajak story, for example, is a good arc, as is the Shadow arc in Sonic Universe. But you're not going to defend the betrayal of Fiona that came out of nowhere. Jeffrey's altered backstory, which threw in to suit his needs. He didn't need to be an Axis wizard. Have the entire city turn hypocrite on Nicole. Hey, dumbasses, you are at one point roboticized. Show some understanding. And they already explained idiotic de-roboticizing of Bunny. You can't defend that. Admit it, that with very few exceptions, Ian has written nothing but bad, lazy stuff. You care to disagree? Well, come at me, bro. I dare you. I double dare you, blank. This was Kevin D6. I hope this answers many questions. Okay, and you can find him at DeviantArt too. I won't provide a link for all these, but you can look them up. But essentially what they're saying here, folks, and I'm going to check my time again, but essentially what this person's saying is they're just expressing how they feel. I mean, you can't really blame people for feeling this way. Not a lot of people are used to something going this long. They're used to something going at a certain amount, going for a certain amount of time, and then ending. It's like you want to take Sad AM, for example, Season 2. Season 2 essentially, according to Ben Hurst, God rest his soul, Ben Hurst basically said that Season 2 was planned out as one big arc, like one big movie, if you will. Even though the final 4 episodes, as I look at them, could be put together as a movie, which I did. I put all final 4 episodes of Season 2 as a movie, and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the thing is, Ian Flynn, not Ian Flynn, but Ben Hurst basically said the whole one season, all 13 episodes, was one big arc. With the exception of Blast to the Past and the two humorous episodes, the two 11-minute short episodes, if you will. As we call them, the 2 Antoine episodes. But anyway, with the exception of all those, everything else was one big arc. And that's, if you want an example of what people are saying, they're basically saying, hey, we're okay with, a long arc as long as it gets done in an appropriate time, but don't drag it out. See, essentially, like I said, using the Sad AM Season 2 thing and what Ben Hurst said, is that Season 2 is kind of like, what's going on now. It was kind of one big arc. There were a few exceptions, Blast to the Past, which to me would have been better suited as an origin story, as well as the 2 Antoine shorts. But again, it's all about what they're trying to point out. What this person's trying to point out is, hey, you could have had this all done if you would have just didn't pad and everything. If you would, basically what people like him are trying to say is they just want truth. They want straightforward They want a straightforward shooting truth. That's what they want. So, again, you can find his at DeviantArt as well. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. And I'll be back later with mostly a lot of folk rock 295s. Peace out.